Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I am Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Roofing Contractor, Walls and Ceilings, and Building Enclosure. And I'm honored to be joined today by Trent Cotney, partner with Adams and Reese. Trent, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, Jill, it's great to be here.
Always good to see you. Gosh, it's hard to believe it's been 3 years since we've been talking about all these legal issues that contractors need to know about. And I have to say, Trent, that your feedback, the feedback we get and everything that you have to always offer the contractors is just tremendous. And everyone's so appreciative of your insight. So just wanted to take a moment and thank you for always taking the time to speak with us.
Sure. Well, thank you, Jill. I tell you, it's the best part of my week being able to talk to you guys.
Oh, we love it. Mine too. So a few things that I think we should talk about today that are really important for contractors. The first, what we were just talking about, is the EPA and PVC products. Can you just tell contractors what do they need to know? Because it's clearly some important details.
Yeah, so this is kind of scary. EPA is obviously the executive agency that governs environmental efforts here in the United States. There are local, state, and other factions that deal with environmental concerns, but EPA is the big one. There is a current petition in front of the EPA to categorize PVC products and waste, PVC waste that you might have on products. So PVC roofs, PVC piping, there's a lot of PVC components out there in construction, to categorize it as hazardous material. Now, the reason why that is important, Jill, is that if this waste is designated as hazardous material, it requires special precautions. It requires a variety of additional PPE to handle it. It requires additional dumpster fees, and it's going to overall increase the cost of construction and removal of PVC products. Obviously, this is a very important issue for anyone in the walls and ceilings or roofing industry to watch, primarily because there is so many different products that use or have PVC as part of their overall makeup. So definitely want to keep watching this because this could affect, what contractors have to do in the future.
Yeah, and I do believe the NRCA has some important information on their website dealing with hazardous waste. And so we'll have to make sure that we list that in the content. So it's great insight for contractors. The other thing too I wanted to talk about with you, Trent, was really the pros and cons of the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, is it really going to reduce inflation? And I think you had some other insight you wanted to share.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a misnomer. These acts always come up with great names, but anytime you're throwing money at stuff, I don't really feel a lot of warm and fuzzies about it reducing inflation. So I don't know how much it's actually going to reduce it. What are the upsides? There is a lot of stuff that's earmarked for clean energy, for energy performance savings, for environmental type construction. So that stuff is there. From a construction standpoint, what are some of the concerns? Continued push towards, union type labor. That could be a pro or con, depending on whether or not you are a signatory or non-signatory contractor. But one of the things that we saw in particular, Jill, was that for these clean energy construction projects, they were going to require compliance with Davis-Bacon wages. And what this was, Jill, is for those of you that don't know, it requires you to pay your workers a prevailing wage rate, which is based primarily on what unions are paying in your area. It also requires you to do certified payrolls and have your subs do the same thing. So a lot more paperwork. Usually the wages are more. Primarily, this has been in the federal sphere in the past, public projects, but this is going to require it be used for any of these clean, energy type construction projects they're doing in the private realm. So definitely want to watch out for that. That's going to be something a little bit different that we really haven't seen before.
Yeah, another question I had for you, Trent, is I heard that California was saying that they were asking folks not to charge their electric vehicles, speaking of clean energy. So if you're a contractor and you've got a fleet of electric vehicles, how do you do your business if they're asking you not to charge your vehicles?
Yeah, it's sort of a catch-22. They're mandating that all vehicles become electric by 2035, but then tell you that you can't charge them. So you've got to figure out the lesser of two evils there. And I don't know what to tell contractors. I said I think I would think before you convert all of your trucks over to electric. I would, and it was interesting. I was having a conversation with a local police force. They use a certain brand that we've all seen on the road, Chargers or Ford Explorers. And they were talking about this move to electric, how they're going to have to discontinue the use because they have to have a wider range to pursue people than what these electric cars allow for. So I think you're going to see a lot of these issues. It's great in theory, but once you start putting it into a practical application, rubber meets the road, no pun intended. So
yeah, that is for sure. Well, Trent, thank you so much for your insight. It's always good to talk to you. If anybody has any questions for you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Sure. Reach out to me anytime, trent.cotney@arlaw.com.
Sounds great. And if anybody has any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com, wconline.com, or buildingenclosureonline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content so you can always stay up to date, especially with all the legal insight interviews with Trent Cotney. Thanks again, Trent.
Thank you.